Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Jace Beleren Must Die. It's party time, sort of. It's not really a party. It's like a solemn event. Not so much a party. So we fade back in from the break on the 10th District Plaza, and it is decked out in blue and white. The Azorius triangle with the eye sigil is in prime view. And as you can imagine, there are very few members of the Gruul or Rakdos guilds anywhere to be found. The crowd seems predominantly to be proudly displaying their Azorius affiliation if they have it. There are lots of Boros in the crowd as well. And then just sort of like the ungilded or the guildless. The Orzhov, because this is happening in their backyard, essentially, they're around too. But there's a lot of people kind of hanging out, looking for a glimpse at the now becoming quite famous Dovin Ban, though he's nowhere to be seen. We're out in the 10th District Plaza. We can see people kind of gathering, and then there is a nearby. There is a guild hall that has been rented to the Azorius, so it has the big Azorius banner hanging over the front door, and there are guards essentially at the gate checking a list of names as people come in. And so we see, lawyers and other members of the guild. We see arresters that are off duty coming in dressed in their dress uniforms and being admitted to this place. And here and there, sort of dotting the sky, we see those strange blue eyes, those thopters flittering about, keeping an eye on the crowd. So as we pan across this scene, for the audience, we establish kind of this is the moment. Where do we see the group of you? What are you doing? Are you hiding in an alley somewhere nearby? Are you attempting to blend into the crowd? Where do we see the group?
My initial instinct would be to blend in with the crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what everyone else is
thinking. Winnegar and Tack, you both have outfits for that, right? You can seem like enterprising law students come to pay your respects.
I feel like Tack's initial instinct was to hide in the alley, and they had to be pulled out of the alley.
No, I'm hiding.
Okay. I just thought we were kidnapping somebody, and you're right.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that right now.
I know, right now, but we are in the future.
Well, no, I don't. No, I think it's off the table.
Fine.
Right? Didn't we decide that's off the table?
I don't know. Where's Road?
Do we see Road?
Yeah.
She's probably 10 steps ahead of you.
Oh yeah, there's Road.
The farther Road gets, the more on the table it gets.
The closer we get.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing it. Stop luring me in. This is the bathtub with champagne all over again.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's too late. You should have made an alibi with Torgor, but it's too late now.
No, we're not kidnapping anyone. Road would be so upset with us if we kidnap someone.
Problem for future us.
So Tack and Winnegar look like people who have come here as part of the celebration rather than just gawkers, right? Because there's a lot of people who are here who are just like, something's happening in the plaza. Cool, I'm gonna hang out, like tourists who are already nearby.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, people who have come to check it out. But the two of you look like a little more official because you're wearing the robe, the students' robes, and it's not going to get you in the door, but you're slightly above. So there are people who, as you walk by, look at you, especially Tack. You get a lot of looks like, oh, interesting. I didn't know goblins could become lawyers. Cool. And so the two of you kind of blend into that crowd. Road, how are you dressed? Because you went back to get some nice clothes, right?
Yeah, I probably have a pretty solid idea of what someone who is friend to the guild sort of looks like at these events.
Mm-hmm.
So probably that, but a little bit more fashionable, very aggressively so.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. So you look like someone important, but not someone important just because they're part of the Azorius. Okay. Cool. And then Torgor, what are you doing? Did you bring your loot?
I did bring my loot.
Hell yeah.
I'm present for the experience, kind of taking it all in.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling really at place, wearing the nice leather vest, got the pinky ring on flex, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
finally feeling like, oh, I'm totally blending in.
Yeah. The vest helps. Okay. All right. Cool.
That helps.
So where are you? I just want to call out the vest as being a nice part of the
Yeah,
ensemble. It's important. So where are you headed? Are you gonna try to get into the early part of the event, or are you gonna lurk out here until they all come out for the second part?
Torgor definitely feels like he's best as a distraction,
Mm-hmm.
and or knowing just don't want to be spotted by these police officers. I'd rather stay out here and be in this space. Torgor, keeping an eye out on things, back up if necessary. Distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's kind of like two ways we could take this right now. We can either like really shoot our shot and try to get in and potentially blow up the whole thing and not be able to do this mission anymore because we fuck it up so bad, which is definitely still on the table.
Okay.
But if we pull it off and we get in,
Okay.
then the benefits are pretty huge. The other way we can do is wait out here for the ceremony, and then in the few minutes after the ceremony, try to make sure we land at whatever after party we need to be at.
Okay,
wanna
so
take a-
oh
Oh,
no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No,
That
that's fine.
so
So do you think we should oh no, sorry. It's on you. Sorry. That was my bad.
you think you're funny, but I will literally find you. Adam, you said people were looking at Tack and thought it was weird that Tack could be a goblin and a law student.
less like weird and more like, oh, neat. Like what a great cool thing. Like that's neat. I've never seen like a goblin in the Azorius before, but it's less like how dare you, and more like,
well, no, just
like,
like the
oh, cool.
like, oh, neat, that's delightful. Look at you, pulled yourself up by your bootstraps. Or
See, this is the thing. Like I don't.
I know that it's not like a race thing, but like Tack is a very
you're out of place, but that's not
Right.
unusual for you because you've been out of place your whole life, right? Like
exactly.
you shouldn't be in the Golgari either, right? There's not a lot of goblins in that guild either.
I was just wondering because like one of Tack's flaws and one of Tack's personality traits is that they are very easily provoked and they assume everyone looks down on them.
Okay, so we as an audience would know that's not what's happening, but Tack might not perceive it.
But Tack might not.
Okay,
and
that completely makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I play up like the goblin thing a lot, is because it's part of their personality flaws and traits, is that there's an assumption. I assume anyone outside the Golgari looks down on me, and like a wild animal, I lash out viciously when I'm provoked, and I'm easily provoked.
Do you feel provoked by these tourists
I'm
staring
wondering
at you?
if like Tack might not necessarily feel provoked, but like could use this to their advantage in this. Like if there is a need for any sort of distraction to get people away from Dovin, to get our people closer, if Tack can be like, what, you don't like what Goblin can't be a lawyer, and then draw a crowd like that.
Yeah, it's certainly an option. And you do, like, I feel like even under the subterfuge, like you do feel a little like people are looking at you like,
like Tack is 100% a rogue because they don't like it when people look at them. It's like, don't look at me. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah, so you're getting some stares for sure.
Tack would put that forth as an option. Like, if you need a distraction, you got a bunch of lawyers and bleeding hearts here.
Yeah. How do
I
we?
mean, we could also tell everyone that why wouldn't Zarek hit new up and coming? Why wouldn't you be on the invite list? We can just pretend you're famous and see if that gets us any.
Oh yeah,
that's right. Yeah, Zarek was Tack's fake name, right? To go along with Reginald Buttercuffs or whatever Winnegar's name was.
I'm sorry. Buttercuffs?
I
That's
couldn't-
someone needs to write that down.
You know what?
Get that tattooed on me.
That's my job, first of all.
I want
Second of all,
everyone
you earned that.
Way better than what I had. Buttercups is great. Yeah. What if we did this? What if we just you guys get it? Like, I got a feeling they're gonna want Tack in there because everyone's gonna want to see, be around the goblin lawyer. Like, that's what they're gonna want. But like, me and Torgor could be on the outside while you guys make a distraction on the inside. Make it in so that guy wants to leave this thing.
I've never been more confused in a more important time in my life.
Yeah, you feel both confused and tense.
You get what I'm saying?
Conversations.
Okay, so I don't think your sister is gonna let all three of us in, to this somewhat small dinner. But you have a good chance of getting in. I got a feeling Tack has a better chance of getting in too. Me, and Torgor is gonna be out here anyway. So
didn't even meet me. That's a huge ask.
well, Torgor is gonna be out here anyway. So maybe I'll just team up with Torgor outside, and we'll just make sure this guy doesn't slip out the back.
Mm-hmm. Breast friend and I've got this.
Yeah.
Then we'll just let best friends. Rhoda always gets offended when friendship is talked about and she's not included.
Mhm, that's fair.
Does she look offended?
Yes.
Good.
You're about to bankrupt her. How dare you?
No, don't worry. I'm sure the cleanup crew is already in there. You are already bankrupt.
My goal
And I'm
is
ditching after this party too. You're not gonna see me for a week.
Oh God.
It's okay. If you run out of money, you're literally a block away from the Vizcopa Bank. The Orzhov will give you as much money as you need to get out from under your crushing debt.
Oh.
Debt consolidation is a big part of the services they offer.
Yeah. That's scary stuff, though. It's like checking the cash stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? Do you want to do that?
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Whatever
Yeah.
gets everybody away from him and gets you closer, right?
Yeah. You guys work the inside, we'll work the outside.
Just introduce
get
me as your
arrested.
minority friend.
Well, don't do that. I mean, that just Tack. Don't lift your head up, Tack.
Tack's slowly looking down and unconsciously reaching for the melon baller, but then stops.
It's under your robes, just ready.
Tack's head's down. Yeah, just introduce me as your minority.
Tack has never considered using this to their advantage before, so now they just feel
This is
It's
the
like-
worst.
I know I'm the minority hire, but I also really want the job. I take the job. Am I racist? Sorry. I'm gonna mute myself.
so we're splitting. You're splitting into two, right? You're gonna Tack and Road are gonna go towards the party, and then Winnegar and Torgor, you're gonna hang out outside and keep an eye on things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's go with Road and Tack. So you're looking for your sister. Is that the thing, Road? Because you think she's
If
gonna be in?
Yeah. The goal is to get kind of close to the people with the list.
Okay.
See
Yeah.
if
I mean, you
he makes off the list.
you see your sister in line, and she's dressed in her dress uniform. Normally she's a plain clothes because she's a detective or whatever, right? But
Right.
she's all dressed up. She went out and got her hair done, so it's all up and cool, and it's got a blue pin with a little silver thing hanging from it. And you can see the full extension of her big long pointy ears. She's got some makeup on. She looks pretty nice, but also she paid someone else to make her look nice. She doesn't do this herself. Yeah, so she's all dressed up. She is by herself. She's standing in line. And can you throw a insight check on here for me?
I can.
And it's your sister, so you can have advantage.
And-
Good thing too. If this were a normal person, you have no fucking clue what's going on with a 4, but you got a 19, so you're okay. So she looks she looks nervous and like kind of like vulnerable. Like you can see her, like she's like, I don't want to be here. I should just go home. Like she's trying to talk herself into staying in line long enough, but every minute that she's in line, she's like, I don't like these things. I should go. This is awful. But as soon as she spots you, unless you're making an effort to stay hidden, no, as soon as she spots you, Ice Princess wall just comes down and that's gone. So she sees you and immediately is just like, it's not that she's unhappy to see you, but she puts on that like different version of herself where she's like the kind of mean older sister. So that vulnerability falls behind that wall, and she sees you and your friend, and all you get is a single like raised eyebrow, like just a millimeter, like, oh, okay.
We walk over.
Yeah.
And
And sorry, Tack, what was your fake name?
Zarek.
it's Zarek, right?
Zarek.
Wait, did you say Derek?
Zarek Doolander.
I will change one letter of it changes every single time. So it's
The George R.R. Martin approach. Just flop one letter in there.
100%
Good. Perfect.
ridiculous. No, it's Zarek.
Okay. All right. So as you approach her, she gives Road the like slight nod, and she's like, Road, and then a slightly more polite way of dealing with strangers, smile, like a fake smile, and like a slightly deeper nod, a little bit of a bow to you, Tech, and says, it was Zarek, right?
You remember Triska? Oh, we had such a good time yesterday. Today.
Yes, it was lovely. I didn't expect to see you here, Road.
Oh, yeah. Did we not? We didn't talk about that, did we? Honestly, my bad. There was so much to catch up on.
She's my plus one. Isn't she such a doll? Ronald never goes to things like this with me.
Where's
Reginald.
Oh my gosh.
You were introduced as Ronald, so
Oh, was it really?
yeah.
Of course.
Wait, Triska? She does have a boyfriend, right? No.
Triska? I don't think so.
No, she doesn't.
No.
So, okay, great.
She's
We can
married
go
to her
with this.
work.
Yes.
No, she does have a boyfriend. You said so in one of the letters. That it wasn't. They work
Was
too
it?
much. They're both workaholics.
That's right. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right.
He was afraid it was going poorly.
Yes.
I-
Yeah.
Do I know
You're right.
his name?
I don't know if he has one yet, but we can make one for
Great.
him.
It's Derek.
It's
so-
not Derek.
It's Todd.
Is your sister likely to date, like obviously within the guild?
Yeah.
But do you think she's more likely to date a human or another elf? And what would your parents expect?
Probably they expect her to be dating another elf. They probably expect a higher ranking than she is, and
Yeah.
probably more in the legislative version of the guild itself.
Prosecutor. Bad
Uh,
boy
oh
prosecutor.
my god, an elven lawyer would be the most tedious fucking thing of all time. Okay.
He's essentially saltless.
So this is great. I'm gonna do the fantasy name thing. I did a random generator, and it sounds like a human name, but it's spelled different. So it's an elf name. His name is Myron, but it's spelled MY''RENN. Yep. So his name is Myron, and that's her boyfriend. And I mean, they're like dating. Boyfriend might be a strong word. Depends on who you ask. But he's not here.
Yeah, that's what I'm using.
That's I figured that's where you're. Oh, so she's got an extra ticket that she can. Oh, nice, good. That's clever. Good work. Okay.
So Red kind of like looks around and she says, "Well, I was worried that your boyfriend would leave you high and dry again tonight, and I figure you might need a +1."
He's in the middle of a case. Very messy. Something with the Rakdos. He couldn't get away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And you thought that you would attend with me?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you were interested in this sort of thing.
I miss the socialite life. I have to admit. That was the only part of this I liked.
It might be easier for you to get invited to parties if you weren't.
Tack is gonna like look around the sister and be like,
Oh, I think that's Gerald. Gerald! And like,
I'm gonna walk over.
boom! I'm out.
Right, you don't want to take AoE damage
no.
from that.
I
Okay.
got some psychic damage.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I
so you're
take
just gonna
36 psychic damage. I'm down.
they start making death saves. Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right.
Like, Tack is like, poop, 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 gone.
Okay, so yeah, she kind of gives you, and I mean, I think you understood the subtext of that was like, I don't want to be seen with like a weird mutant, but you
Mhm.
might still be able to convince her. So yeah, that's what she said. She's like, it'd be easier for you to get invited to parties if you weren't, you hadn't ruined yourself by becoming a mutant. But yeah.
Yeah. No. I think that you've definitely made your opinion on that incredibly clear. I would consider this an incredible favor to me.
She squints at you like detective mode comes on, and she says,
And I think that like Rhoda is definitely like hinting like, because I know that I think Rhoda knows that if she hints that there's like another story to this, that her sister probably is going to have a hard time saying no.
yeah,
That,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
If she could feel like she's getting in on something.
Yeah, so she squints at you a little and she says, what are you up to?
We were in a pretty public place earlier today. So
when you
normal
say
stuff.
that, her eyes flick briefly to the nearest one of those like surveillance thopters, and then back, and she says, privacy has been somewhat hard to get of late, but it keeps the city safe.
Is that what you really think?
You know me, I do things by the book. They've just changed the book a little.
Yeah, I think that was perhaps my favorite part is I was really able to shut that book when I left. It's been really nice.
Well, someone has to keep law and order in this city. We can't
I
all
agree.
just go hide in a wet hole in the ground.
I think that that's cute that you think that's what I'm doing.
I haven't seen anything to prove otherwise. We haven't spoken in such a long time. So what are you doing?
I'd love to discuss that tomorrow after the party.
In this exact moment, hear Torgor strumming his guitar from outside the window. He's beginning his set at that exact moment.
I love it. So you're gonna need to give her something to like get to the point where we can roll. Because if you're just like, let me in, and she's like, I don't know, and you're like, I'll tell you why I need to get in later. There's some part of her that's like, you're just gonna go in there and like unleash some kind of horrible simic biotoxin and kill everyone. Like, okay. I don't know you anymore, and you're a
All
weird
right.
jellyfish lady. So she needs like a little bit more.
I like get very close to her.
Mm-hmm.
So we're shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay. And on that same shoulder, in my pocket, are probably the photos.
Mm-hmm.
I pull one out for just a second, and then I put it back in my pocket.
Okay. She looks at it, and then she looks at you like confused, and she's like, What interest did the Simic have in Ironclad? What are you doing here?
I just need to make some friends.
All right, make that persuade check. She's curious enough, and as long as I think this is the thing. Like, go ahead and roll.
Okay. I have a 0, so it's just gonna be like what the dice want, and that's perhaps the most stressful thing of all. Okay. Can I use my inspiration on
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
this? Okay. I think this is the right time for that.
Torgor approves.
Okay.
Because Torgor might try to use his inspiration on his performance. It might not go as well as you think. So,
Mhm.
All right, persuasion. Here we go. Okay.
Okay. All right. So he gets 17. So she kind of shakes her head slightly, like she's like, I don't know, but okay. So she looks at you. You can see her make the decision, and she says, "All right, but when we're inside, you do not leave my side. If I lose sight of you, you and your friends stay with me. I can get you in, but they and she looks over at wherever Tack is and is like, but they have tickets, right?
Zarek, no, I think Zarek just graduated and they're trying to get an internship with someone. I don't pay attention, but that's more of a personal ambition thing.
Fine, I don't care about them. You can
Great.
come in with me. Don't make
And-
trouble.
Also Zarek, maybe? I do like a very little sister like.
She puts her hands out and she says, "You don't understand the Azorius very well, do you? They have rules for
Excuse me,
everything."
This buffet table doesn't seem very height accessible.
So Tack, like
Like out a small box.
for you, like there are physical tickets. They have everyone is holding or has in their
Oh, I
pocket
know.
a piece of paper.
You cry!
So it would not be hard for you to get in. Like that's
Yeah.
fairly easy. It's not like
I'm
you're checking
sure.
ID.
Do
Yeah.
cry.
So what have you been doing when you disengaged from the familial awkwardness?
So I disengaged from the awkwardness,
Mhm.
but then there is something about a party full of police officers
Yeah.
that typically attracts the criminal types,
Mm-hmm.
especially like organized crime and stuff like that. Tack, even though Thieves' Cant doesn't really fall under this, Tack would like to look out into the crowd of partygoers, especially the nicer dressed ones that are getting a lot of attention, doing a lot of handshaking for the higher up Azorius, and like just kind of keep an eye out, especially, you know, if any of them has like anything about them that seems a little bit more militant and less organized crime, like militant in the way that the Valerian are.
Make a make a perception roll for sure. I think that's completely reasonable.
Let's see how it goes.
It goes real good. It goes the best it could possibly go.
Hey, what up?
Excellent. All right, so you get a crit. Yeah, I think you catch like a potential crime in action. So you see in the lineup, there is a person. They're wearing a like an azure kind of like half cape, very like fine boots. You can't see the front of them. You just see their back. They have their hair pulled back into a like a braid. They have like dark, like glossy black hair, dark skin, and they're talking to a member of the Azorius who's in the lineup, and they've just convinced them to like step out of line and like come with me over into this alley. And you see that the two of them kind of peel off from the line and go into the alley. And you're the only person that spots this. And I think with the 23, because you crit, I'll give you a little extra with a crit. The person behind them in the line and the person in front of them in the line both turn when they leave the line. Because somebody leaving a line you've been in for like an hour is weird. And they
Right.
turn and they both get this blank look on their face and then kind of blink out of it. And then it's like it never happened. And they just turn back into the line.
Tack is 100% going in this alley.
Yeah, you want to follow into the alley?
Yeah, I guess I'll die in an alley today. It's fine.
Okay.
while wearing my tearaway lawyer uniform.
It's perfect. So you follow. I assume you're following. You're following sneakily.
100% sneakily.
Okay. Yeah, I figured as much. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's.
Most of what tech does is sneaky, but in this particular case, it is actively sneaky as opposed to passively sneaky.
Okay.
You want me to roll stealth or?
Yeah, please. I'm just trying to find what I gotta oppose you with.
Rolled a 26.
Oh my God! How dare you? How dare you? You're fantastic. All right, let's see.
Doing crimes. That's what I'm good at.
Yeah, doing your thing. Okay, so perception. Okay, I think they do one active like look around in the alley, and then if they fail this, then
But you didn't expect.
a goblin pretending to be a lawyer.
Law gobbo!
Law gobbo. Cool. Good job. Gob Phoenix. Okay, so yeah, you can register your objection shortly. So they don't notice you, neither this person's victim nor the person themselves. So you peer into the alley and you see this half-caped, braided Lando Calrissian type with their arm around this cop's shoulder, and they lead them into the alley, and they're having like an intimate, like a whispered conversation, and then they stop, and they turn slightly, so you're seeing them side on, and this person is talking to the lawyer, and they put their hand up, and you see a flickering of bye Torgor. You see a flickering of light around their fingertips, and they the other person, the officer, has the same blank look pass over their face. They kind of like blank out, and they you see them reach up, and they put their, as if like pinching something, they put their fingertips to the person's temple and start to pull a thread of blue light from their head. You watch them like draw it out, and along this thread of light there are tiny little like characters like writhing around on the light.
Objection! This is a crime!
Tack is like really loudly says it.
You leap out.
Yeah, no, like so loudly as to get the attention of other people so that they can see Tack rescuing this person in an alley.
See Tack. So the person they turn in surprise, and you see that they have one eye. They have like a scar from their hairline down to kind of like their jawbone, and one eye is kind of like dead and gray.
Spooky.
And their other eye is the same glowing blue as the thread of whatever it is they're pulling from this person's mind. They grab the thread in their hand, and in their other hand, you see the flash of a blade as they stab the person, and then take off down the alley, running away.
Yeah, Tack is not interested in helping this person out.
Yeah, they were wondering. That's the thing. They were like, haha, I stabbed a person. Now you have to stop and help them. But if you're like, nah, fuck that.
I'm not interested. What I am interested in is getting the attention of other cops at this cop party where I was told I could not stab a cop. Clearly, you are allowed to stab cops.
I mean,
Yeah.
allowed is a.
Are you only getting the attention because you feel like it's not fair that you weren't allowed to stab a cop?
So one half a dozen of the other, but also so that Tack, lawyer Gobbo, can be seen trying to help this citizen in need. Tack would also like to run to the lawyer's side, and before the cops get there, take their ticket.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You're not so much interested in. This is like a performance role, right? To like
Yes.
back up your fake identity.
Yes, it's.
Yeah,
I'm more
okay.
interested in being seen as altruistic. I would prefer to do sleight of hand over performance. Just make sure I get the
Yeah,
ticket.
I think there's several things happening here, right, at once.
Yeah.
There's the role to make this scene look the way you want it to look, right? To engineer the moment.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty clear Tack saw a dude get stabbed.
Yeah, but then you don't want to be the one that everyone thought stabbed them, right? Like we want to engineer this so that it looks like you're a hero.
Yeah.
Right? Like you
I
saw
wanna-
this
I wanna
this crime in action.
delicately cradle this person in my hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Dang, and I brought that melon baller. Mm.
You're just like, I could just scoop their eyeballs out right now.
No,
them,
I'm
they're
like,
breathing to
I'm
death.
actually more like, if I fail this check, are they gonna search me for weapons and find this spike?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about using such an unorthodox weapon is that you can sometimes pass it off as something that it's not, right? You can be like, oh, that's just for melon
Yeah.
balling. Just
Like, look, I
making
already have a
melon balls.
tearaway suit. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah,
And this
Pretty
guy was
obvious.
stabbed.
I'm
He
into
wasn't.
some weird
He
stuff.
wasn't bald.
it's true.
Whatever the act of melon
Uh,
balling is.
He's
Yeah.
still warm. There's still time. No, don't make that. Sorry, no, Kat, don't say that.
It's not bald.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and let's get a performance roll to see if you can just kind of set up like
I already
here's
used. Yeah.
yeah, here's what everybody sees when they bust in on the scene. Because you start shouting, and I think Torgor, Road, and Winnegar, Torgor and Winnegar especially, because you're closer, you're not entangled in the social stuff that Road is. You can be on the scene, you can rush in to check it out. But let's see what people think when they arrive. So Tack, go ahead and make that performance check.
I would like to use my inspiration on this.
Okay, yeah, sure, that sounds great.
I should use the inspiration on the sleight of hand, but if I
Well, you're
if I
better at that,
roll
so
a 0, then
Okay.
didn't need it, but that's
okay,
fine.
got 17. Great. All right, so you were in control of the situation. So tell me what people see when they come around the corner, what they believe is going on here.
What they see when they come around the corner is Tack cradling the head of this poor cop against their tiny gobbo chest and ruining their brand new suit with
Sure.
this poor victim's blood and like sobbing into the night.
I
It's
was
like,
I was about to
"Why?
say yeah. Why you? Why now? No.
Take me!"
Take me instead.
It's like,
Perfect.
this being Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, very theatrical. I like it. Yeah.
And at a cop party, who would kill a cop at a cop party? Tack
right.
absolutely says cop party too. Has already forgotten what the function is.
Yeah. Make a note of saying that it was, it was two
One
weeks.
day away from retirement.
Yeah, he was 2 weeks from retirement. Yeah, he bought a boat. Yeah, okay. Perfect.
Thank
Great.
you, chat.
So that's exactly what people believe. They believe that this, like, you tried in vain to save them. And I think that an arrestor comes like running over, and he's like, what's going on? What happened here? Who did this? And he just immediately discounts you because you're obviously like the heroic first responder on the scene.
Somebody brought them into the alley, and I know there was mind magic, and everything was such a blur of motion.
So this arrestor pulls out a silver whistle and blows into it. It makes no sound, but there's a faint blue glow from the whistle, and then you hear the whirring of thopter wings. And a group of these, and I think this is something that everybody notices, a bunch of the thopters all turn towards the sound and start to glow and go into pursuit mode. So they zip down into the alleys and start just like wide scanning. A couple of them go up above, and like the tourists are all very excited about this. They're like, "Ooh, look, they're doing something, honey." And and we see
show.
yeah, we see like a Loxodon and his kid just be like, "Ooh, look." But like the cops are all on the Babar pretty much.
Can I read what my sister's reaction to that is?
Yes, yeah. When everything goes, make an insight check on her. Okay, you got 13. Relief, because she doesn't know how to deal with parties, but she likes mysteries. And so she looks at you and she shakes her head and she says, and this is with there's a degree of like excitement in saying this. She's like, well, looks like the party's going to have to wait. And she draws her like Azorius, her like arrestor wand or whatever, and she runs off to join the cop action. Meanwhile, though, Tack, you want to sneak that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like to.
All right, I'll give you advantage on it because you've made a scene that is distracting you, and there's no like somebody's called for a Boros medic, but they haven't arrived yet, so you can pretend you're like holding their blood in or whatever.
Yeah, just like. Oh my gosh, where'd he stab him to? Just
right in the stomach. It wasn't like a killing blow. This was a distracting thing where it was like you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
do-
Okay, that's fine.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, all Tack gets is intestines. It's just intestines. 100%.
You reach and you're like, I got it. Oh boy, let's put that back. Yeah, it's not that you're bad at this. It's not that you fail. Like this is a thing you're very good at. It's just that you can't find the ticket, right?
Yes.
You like pat them down. You're like, wait, where is it? What the hell? And you, you're like searching them. And then the
Probably
medic,
dissolved in the blood.
the medic comes running up, and it's a goblin. He's got a satchel with the Boros like logo on it, and like a little cap. And he comes, and they come running over, and they're like, what's going on? There's blood everywhere. What the heck?
My friend.
All right. The best thing you could do for your friend right now is just get out of my way, so I gotta work. Here, move. And he like pushes you out of the way, and he like just rolling up his sleeves.
Yeah, Tack's gonna keep Gerald, please, and just like keep up the thing, but also while like backing out of the alley.
Yeah. Okay.
Because Road probably doesn't want Tack covered in blood. This is gonna send the wrong message.
Yeah. And the medic's like, Gerald, buddy, and he snaps his fingers in front of his face. He says, listen to me, Gerald. You're not dying. Not on my watch. Not tonight. And he like takes out his kit. And he's got a healing like a healing salve, and he's like, he's fully focused on tending to him. At the mouth of the alley, a crowd has gathered to gawk, and there are some arresters who are like, all right, back up, everybody. Like, this is an Azorius investigation. And then throughout the rest of the area, the Thopters have gone to search for this missing assassin, maybe thief, who knows? This cloaked fellow. Torgor and Winnegar, what are the two of you doing while this is happening?
So we saw Tack run into the alley though before.
I think it's reasonable that you have that advantage. You saw Tack go into the alley, and then also you and everybody else nearby was witness to Tack's big theatrical moment.
I'm the only tiny red gobbo in a tearaway suit, so
that's true. That's very true.
Winnegar can't help but feel that like this was all planned somehow, and he doesn't know how Tack did it.
Right.
Like, how did Tack get those guys to attack that other guy, and Tack somehow the hero in this? Is this the distraction? Is Tack a mastermind?
Yeah, Torgor. Is Tack smarter than Torgor gave her credit for? What?
Oh, I think, okay, maybe we should look for, we should do our part. We should look for the mark, I guess. Maybe this is Tack's distraction.
This distraction, so Torgor didn't need to bring loot. It gets like real sad.
Torgor, I didn't mean that at all.
No. Torgor has been getting used to being bad at things he thought.
Torgor, I just mean
Tack
maybe they'll
better
come in handy later.
Now too. No, it's fine.
Torgor has just come to the revelation that Torgor is a Dungeons and Dragons character, and that a D20 is unpredictable. Even though you think you're good at things like, I don't know, sleight of hand, sometimes you still roll a 2.
Oh yeah.
I did not come here to be dragged on the internet in front of 194 viewers.
Yeah.
Can I make an investigation to see if there's anyone like not flocking to this big group of people?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Yeah, should do it.
I would like to make an investigation roll specifically for that. What's his name? Ironclad. Just like to see if I can perceive him in the crowd at all.
Yeah. So Torgor, make a perception check.
Gotcha.
And Winnegar, you got a 16 on your investigation. Okay,
Yeah.
so Torgor, you can't spot him anywhere. You see a bunch of sort of samey looking humans, but Ironclad's easy to spot because he's got these like big mutton chop fucking sideburns, and you do not see that fancy facial hair anywhere. But what do you want to ask? Ask me some questions about the scene here, Winnegar. I will happily answer them on a 16.
Yeah, so I don't know why. In my head, I'm picturing like we're in front of like sort of this Capitol building or some type of like
Mhm.
you know, building with columns or whatever. And we're kind of outside, and the crowd, Gotham City style, flocks to the right side of the building towards that alley. And Torgor and I are kind of in the center, kind of more leaning left. And I want to look around, like, one who's not like enthralled with this like situation. And is there anything going on with like security too up
Oh,
above?
like, is this a distraction somebody
Yeah.
else is setting up? Okay.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
so I've surrounded the area, the little red box there on the map. This is kind of where it's happening, right? So all the
Oh.
seating is set up here. There's a stage here. This hall in the back is where the cops are going, and then this little like walkway up here. This is the lineup leading into the entrance. So the person got lured away, actually towards your hotel, which is over here. But like lured away in this direction into one of the sort of the shadowy under parts over here. So now there's a big crowd kind of at the edge of the plaza, trying to look into the alley, and like lots of people like looking at the sky, seeing stuff flying around. There are people, like the people who are in the lineup who either were like, I'm gonna go solve this thing, like Rhodes' sister, like Triska. They all ran off and left their place in line. But there are a bunch of like functionaries who are like, well, I'm not a police officer, I'm just an important member of the Senate. They just stayed in line. They're like, well, the arresters will deal with this. I don't think that you spot anybody like sneaking through an open window or anything like that. Yeah, it doesn't look to you like this was a distraction for anything else, but if it was, you'd absolutely notice. You would have noticed that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can I spot anyone in the line? Is anyone recognizable in the line?
I don't think you recognize anyone in the lineup. No.
Okay.
No. But I think you guys 16. 16 is pretty good, and you saw that guy, and you'd be the only one that would maybe recognize them. He's out of uniform because in the pictures he was wearing like his lab coat, basically. You see this younger human man, the Izzet League guy that was arguing with Ironclad in the pictures. He's in the crowd. He's not in the lineup, but you spot him, and he looks when you catch a glance of him before somebody walks past him. He has a look on his face like somebody who is trying to decide whether he wants to stay or leave. Yeah.
So I like kind of like hit Torgor and be like, yo, that's the guy.
Oh. No, he doesn't have mutton chops.
No,
It's the other guy.
It's the other guy. It's a friend of the guy.
Oh, okay. Torgor's on board. Torgor gets it now.
Okay, we gotta keep an eye on this guy.
Just an eye?
What? Well, several
an
eyes.
eye.
Well, all of our eyes. Torgor.
Okay. No. Vinegar. Torgor means you want me to do something other than look at him.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, look at him. He seems like pretty skittish right now.
Mhm.
Like maybe he's gonna dip or something. How far away am I?
Not far. You could just like push through the crowd to get to it. The crowd is thinned pretty distinctly. You lose sight of him every once in a while, but he's still here, and you could just kind of shove through the crowd to get to him.
Do you want?
Yeah.
Should I push through the crowd because it'll be easier to get through, or would they notice me more? Would he notice me walking directly at him?
You could try to do it stealthily.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to avoid
Vinegar, what do you
spooking
think?
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's hold
Okay.
conversation. So he thinks we're just like minding our own business, talking about
Mhm.
crime.
Living
Not
that life.
singing.
And so that's what I do to appear normal. Do.
Yeah, whistling, twiddling your thumbs. It works. It works great.
Yeah.
You got a 17.
Nice.
You are the most casual of anyone I've ever seen. So yeah, you managed to get like right up close to him just as he makes the decision where he's like, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna get out of here. And he starts to turn and walk away. Now you could say something, or you could grab him or whatever, but you're within arm's reach.
I want to grab him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just like grab his arm.
I just grab his arm.
Okay.
As soon as I see Torgor
Like-
grab his arm,
Mhm.
my eyes like light up like, oh, I was not expecting that at all. And I just like look at the guy and say, we got to get you out of here. here, you're in danger.
So before you have a chance to say that, you take the breath to say it. Torgor, can you make a Constitution saving throw for me, please?
Whoa.
I will.
Okay.
That's okay. Constitution saving throw. Got that +2.
Okay.
Not good enough.
Not good enough. You got 6. So you're gonna take some damage.
Cool.
You take 5 damage, 5 lightning damage, and you are knocked prone. So Torgor looks like he just shoved a fork in an electrical socket. Torgor gets knocked flat on his butt, and like gets knocked back. There's a crackle in the air, a flash of light, the smell of ozone, all very familiar to you, Winnegar. And instead of running or anything like that, this is it. He turns and he's like, "Oh, Guild, I am so sorry. Oh, I did not realize I didn't disarm that. I'm sorry. Let me help you up." And he reaches for you, and you can see he's got on his hand some kind of brass like glove with a thing in the middle, and he sees it and he's like, "Oh, that's a bad idea. Are you okay? I didn't mean to." And he looks at you, Winnegar, and he's like, "I'm sorry about your friend. He grabbed me and
There's a crowd of people, man. We're just making our way. We're through the crowd. What's going on?
You can't just grab people and expect there not to be ramifications.
What are you talking about? Why does this guy talk so weird, Torgor?
I have the right to defend myself. Listen. And he reaches into his coat and he takes out a handful of Xenos and he just like throws them at you, Torgor. And he's like,
What?
"There, and he like turns to leave. Like, get out of here. I'm sorry that you got electrocuted."
Who raised you? This isn't the proper way to act in public. You can't just hurt people and throw money at them.
So he's trying to just fuck off. He's like, I didn't mean to electrocute you. That's your fault. Here's some money. Stop bothering me.
I gotta call my insurance company. Okay, I gotta get your information. What are you talking about? This is a hit or run. You can't just throw money. What if he has a lifetime of pain? What if his
back feels like it's gonna spasm later?
Yeah.
Heart condition. Use a heart condition.
What's your deal? And also, what are you doing bringing these weapons into a crowd of people?
Okay, make a persuade roll to get him to like stick around and explain himself and not just disappear. Oh no, Torgor's pacemaker. It's malfunctioning. Yeah, and you can do it with advantage because Torgor is helping. Nice. Okay.
Nice.
So he looks around and like he stops and he's like, I didn't mean to hurt anybody. It's just I'm a personal defense system that I'm working on. And listen, I just didn't want to get attacked. And I don't know why you grabbed me. That's still on you. And he points at you, Torgor. And like, you know, he's pointing at you're sitting on your butt, but you're still quite tall. So you just like he points at you kind of at eye level. And then
Sitting up, trying to get up. Yeah.
Yeah. And he says, hang on. I'll like reaches in and you hear like a click and then the sound of some mechanism and then the unmistakable sound of something powering down. And then he comes over to Torgor and he like helps you stand up. And he says, I'm sorry, I just don't do well in crowds and I didn't want anybody touching me. Are you?
Dude, you are so weird.
It's a
and I
crowd.
am here for it right now.
and so when you say that, he's like, well, hey, I mean, it's not perfect. I'm still trying to adjust the amount of output. See, and he like opens his cloak and you can see he's got this like complicated like body suit thing on underneath his cape or whatever his clothes that he's wearing. And it's like a skin tight, like a wetsuit, but it's got circuits kind of like wired into it. And he's got like a battery pack under his thing. And he's just like, I was just really concerned about, you know, coming out to an event like this. And, you know, I've heard about muggings and it's so dangerous in the streets of Ravnica these days. And I usually stick to my lab. And I thought this might help make me feel more comfortable, you know, out in public. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I'm so sorry.
When he shows off the gear,
Yeah.
I recognize anything that like would be a talking point, like an impressive piece of, you know what I mean? Like that. Cause like I'm an Izzet engineer. Like this would be pretty impressive for me, I think.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's up to you whether you feel impressed by it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, this guy obviously works in the laboratory of storms and electricity, right? He's an electrician of some kind. You don't know his rank within the league, but he's running experiments. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so I think you could like point that out, or even if you're willing. Now you're dressed like an Azorius, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to have a cover for why you know this. But
oh my god,
you can't just flat out be like techno babble at him without him being suspicious.
This has suddenly become a very complex meet cute.
oh my god,
Right.
yeah. Now I have to lie about who I am, like while
We'd
I was
never be
lying who I
together.
am.
Yeah. So but the funny thing is he's just saying it like normal, right? Like he's in the middle of like, well, see, the previous version had some kind of anomalous power spike in the auxiliary energizer, and I thought that I could fix it by recalibrating. And he's just like going off because this is what he does.
Yeah.
But like, and then he looks at you, he looks at your outfit, and he's like, "I'm sorry, none of this must make any sense to you. I should just go. This was a mistake."
No, you're obviously a very smart person. Wow, I've never seen anything like this before.
You just said the favorite words that every Izzet League engineer likes to hear. You're obviously a very smart person. And so he's like, well, I don't know about that. I mean, it's just a prototype. I was thinking that if if the design could be perfected and we could mass produce them, it might be useful to the Senate. They could give them to VIPs and things like that. It would prevent assassinations. I've got some charts back at my lab that prove it's a profitable device after we get over the initial testing period. Clearly, it can stop a Minotaur, so that's something. Thank you for that data, by the way. I mean, I didn't mean to make you part of the experiment, but it's useful in its own. I'll credit you in my paper. I'm sorry. I'm being rude again. Maybe best not to shake my hand. Residual charge and everything. I'm Wenzel. Wenzel Ironclad.
Wenzel Ironclad. I love this.
Oh, ironclad,
Yes!
you say?
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
oh my god.
Talk about a whole new honeypot situation.
great
This is
here.
the finest of the honeypots. The honeyest pot.
And yeah, so Torgor, he's like introducing himself by way of apology. It's like I'm Wenzel Ironclad, and you are?
Torgor.
And he nods. He says, "Pleased to meet you, Torgor. I'm a member of the Izzet League. I know it's an Azorius event, but I'm you don't want to hear about that." And he turns to
Oh no, we do want to hear about that.
Well, it's just I thought that maybe my you see, my brother is a member of the Senate, and I thought that he might be able to give me some. I need to talk to the right people. I'm not good at this whole networking thing.
Oh,
But I thought if I came here and I showed him my prototype and I had an opportunity to talk with a few of the people, and he gestures at the house, that maybe I could make the right connections. My advisors are always telling me that I can't just stay in my lab, that science needs to be done out in the open, field testing. But my brother and I don't get along very well, and so now I'm out here electrocuting Minotaurs by accident. I'm sorry about that, by the way.
oh wow. Well, networking can be very hard and it can be very difficult. Some people try for years and really never make connections. Like you yourself are very lucky that today you made one of the best connections you probably could have hoped for.
Oh my god.
Connection.
And he looks at you like confused, like he's waiting for the punchline.
I'm always looking. I'm always looking for new things to invest in. Okay, I missed the boat on I'm trying to think of. I was gonna say grapes, like apple.
But what sort of grapes, Carlos? What sort?
But yeah, I mean, I'm so interested. I've never seen anything like this before. Like you said, like even helping the police force, this would be great. But man, so where do you do all your tech work from?
He says, I have a lab, a couple of districts from here. The league gave it to me to use. I don't have any assistants or anything, so it's slow going, and the lab is small and kind of drafty, and I have to sleep there. And but it's useful, and I have been making some progress on my project. I mostly work with electricity, as you can see.
Yeah, you seem very excited about that electricity. It's makes me very happy. And Winnegar is trying not to geek out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you meet somebody at a party and they're like, "Oh, Star Wars? Yeah, I like Star Wars." Okay, and you're like,
yeah. Yeah. So I turned to Torgor, and I'm just like, "Hey, you're looking pretty good, right? You're not this guy. He didn't hurt you, right?"
No, Torgor needs much more to be hurt by some silly instrument.
Oh,
Really trying to cover up the fact that he's like still like his nerve endings are like still singed.
a single tear falls from Torgor's eye. Like Torgor is fine.
Torgor is fine. Oh, a windy day. Very windy in this crowd right now.
Torgor only has dust in his eye. Torgor cannot feel pain. Only on inside.
Only on the inside. As someone steals his best friend.
Oh, is that what Torgor's seen? Torgor's seen like Winnegar light up with a guy that kind of looks like him too.
Torgor doesn't think it's anything because it's like, oh no, Winnegar's just in really good character right now, doing a good job. But
this is that meme, right? There's a picture of Torgor and it says your best friend, and then there's a picture of this other guy and it says the guy he says you don't have to worry about.
So I want to see if I can kind of play this guy so I can go back to his lab and see where he's like set up and like get more information on him, his lab, and his brother. And then also I've kind of herded him away like in case we need something.
How did this
Torgor's
literally
like-
become a honeypot?
Yeah, this has become very erotic very quickly. Okay, yeah.
Torgor goes really quick. It's like, no, to make it up to Torgor, we could go to your lab and you could let me rest there.
And
I still don't feel 100%.
And he nods and he you can see him like thinking it over. Winnegar make a persuade check, but again, Torgor's giving you help, so.
Okay. Let's see. It's taking forever. There it goes.
Here we go. I see an 18. Okay. All right. So he this scene, like that check, is 18 plus. So he nods and he says, I think I've had just about enough excitement for one day. I'd love to get back to the lab. You're welcome to come along if you'd like to see my other work. And he looks at you, Winnegar, with like big, wide, excited eyes.
That would be great. I'm always looking for
Torgor would love to see your other work.
Hey, Torgor comes in between us.
Torgor is also part of this conversation.
Torgor loves smart things and making things with hands.
Oh, I love Torgor. Okay, so he's like, of course, follow me. I can always talk to my brother another time. And hey, if you like my work, maybe I don't need him after all. And the three of you, exeunt stage left, for visiting the lab. So Road and Tack, unbeknownst, Torgor and Winnegar have just gone. They have just disappeared, and you do not see them go. They just go away. And yeah, and I think that's the scene, right? Is that we get the panning out shot of Winnegar, Torgor, and their new friend leaving the crowd. The crowd is still kind of in a bit of a hubbub, and then all throughout the 10th District Plaza and nearby area, we just see these little silver teardrop thopters searching for this guy, this stabber, this phantom stabber, and then we fade to credits. Cool.
Woo,
That was great.
woo.
Let's give out some XP. So, my friends, let's answer some questions. Did you, and we'll go through each. I think this first one is true for everybody. Did you learn something about Jace, his conspirators, or his servants? The answer is yes, you did. Yeah. You learned that he has a brother, and you learned that his brother is a member of the Izzet League. There's a fair bit there. So everybody mark a point of experience. So on your experience, put, like, for now, 1 out of, you guys are level 2, right? So 1 out of 6 for gaining a level. Okay, so we'll go around. Did anybody express their character's class, race, or background in a way that was interesting or meaningful? I have some thoughts. I'm not going to jump forward with them, but I'll let you suggest first, and then I'll if I think you missed one. So did your character's class, race, or background come up in a way that was interesting or meaningful for the narrative today?
I like Torgor realizing that his level of what is called barbarism or chaos is, like, truly controlled to the level of chaos that is Tack and Winnegar alone in a room.
You're a chaos professional. They're chaos amateurs.
Right.
It's true, but it's just because we haven't failed enough times to be a professional.
That's right. Yeah. Well, and I think, Torgor, I think that's an answer to the next question. I think that's a yes on the next one, because that's about your guild, right? That's about being part of this, like, controlled burn. I think so. Right. I'll make some suggestions. This is the first time we're doing it, and everybody will kind of warm up to it. So, Tack, I think we saw your characters we saw your race and your background both come up. Because the fact that you were a goblin and that bit about how you feel like your background as a Golgari and as a Golgari goblin has set you up to, like, see suspicion everywhere, to assume that everyone is misunderstanding or mistreating you. I thought that was really interesting. I thought that we learned something about Tack. So yeah, definitely mark another one for Tack. Road, your the fact that you're a Simic hybrid interacting with your sister and her being a shit to you. And you not capitulating, you just being like, no, we're not talking about that. I thought that was really cool. So I would mark one more for that one. And then for the third question, did you express your connection to your guild in a meaningful way? I think Torgor and Winnegar both definitely get a point for that, because Winnegar having to pretend you're not a member of the Izzet League was as fun as you being a member of the Izzet League. So definitely that. And then Torgor, your relationship with like chaos, like you said, where you're like, no, I do this for a living. You guys are just amateurs. You want to cause some real trouble. And I think that'll be fun when Torgor gets an opportunity to do that, to be like, all right, you want a distraction? I got a distraction for you. Cool. And then did anybody's alignment, we haven't really, like, talked about it much at all, because in base D&D it means next to nothing. But did your alignment complicate your character's life in an interesting way? Did you do something according to your alignment that might have made, like, wasn't necessarily the smartest call, or, like, made the narrative more interesting, made the game more fun?
Grabbing someone I don't know, because that is what chaotic neutral would do.
Yes, that was impulsive of you, definitely. Right. Yeah, and you got electrocuted for it. So yeah, okay.
I got electrocuted.
Yeah, so mark another one for Torgor.
Yeah, Tack did a neutral evil thing, but it didn't complicate anything. So
what was your neutral evil thing that you did, Tack?
Trying to rob the person that they were supposedly rescuing. But it didn't really complicate anything. So
yeah, if you had, like, double down on it and, like, shiv the dude or something, or like
like if Gerald had, like, started to come to, and Tack was like, no.
Yeah, no, I gotta just finish the job. Yeah,
it's like, oh no,
it's a mercy.
Just like gently, like, choke him out until the medic gets there.
Yeah.
Like,
you were too late. He died.
That's strange. But no, it didn't complicate it. So next time, there's always next time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good. All right. So you should have everybody has at least one, but maybe more XP. And then when you get to 6, we'll reduce it back down to 0. You may have some like overage, reduce it back to 0. Everybody will gain a level, and we'll keep doing that, and we'll try the system out. I mean, we're playtesting it, so I think it's pretty cool, and it's fun to like look at these things and during the game, like if you want to get experience, just make sure you do one of those things, and then at the end you can be like, oh yeah, when I did this, I was trying to get experience for this thing, and then we can talk about it. So something you guys can go after.
That's cool. Yeah, I like this way of doing it.
Yeah, and if we want, we can change the questions too. Like if we answer no to every single question, like or the same question over and over, if nobody's getting points for it, obviously it's not meaningful for our game. So we can change it. So you're getting rewarded for stuff. I was thinking about adding something about like interacting with NPCs and stuff, but the game doesn't give you any way to like create them or really interact too much. So I think we'll use the other stuff, but NPCs are obviously always going to be really important. I thought it was funny that TK, that you were like, it's a dating sim now. Because
100%. And we even have a ship name for it.
Do you?
Tell them, Katie.
It's Winzel.
Perfect.
With an I.
Don't approve. Don't approve. Whatever.
I like jealous Torgor. I think it's cute.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, like, they're on a date and like Torgor's like in a waiter costume, just like what are you talking about? I've always worked here.
Even worse, like a trench coat in the back that's clearly too small, like a newspaper.
Yeah.
With like eye holes cut out of the newspaper.
Yeah.
It's like stuck on his horns. Perfect. Perfect. Cool. All right. So let's do some shout outs, and we'll say goodbye to our quest to end Jace and also date everyone. Let's start down over here with Carlos. Carlos, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, my name is Carlos Luna. You can find me on all social media under Carlos Crits. You could also find me on Sundays, although I think we're on a little hiatus right now. Maybe not hiatus, but just like a little break. I don't know. Whatever. For Rivals of Waterdeep, you could get that in podcast form or on YouTube, but we usually stream on Sundays at noon Central Standard Time. You could also find me on my D&D podcast live stream called The Dungeon Rats, where we take listener suggestions and we weave it into our campaign. That's every other Tuesday. We just had one yesterday, so you have to wait 2 weeks, but the podcast comes out weekly. So you can get that every Thursday. Other than that, I'm not really traveling for right now.
That's a nice thing to be able to say. Hey.
Yeah. So
nice. Enjoy it.
that's all I got going on. Yeah.
Good. Cool. Down over here in this corner, as Tack, it's TK. Do it. Do the thing.
It's me. It's TK.
I write spooky stories on the internet, and if you like spooky stories, then you can read them for free at tkjwrites.com, or you can follow me on Twitter, TK Joins the Fray. I'm not writing about spooky stories right now because I'm live tweeting an actual play that I secretly love openly. Never mind. Don't worry about it. I have a new stream schedule. I am no longer a liar, though I am still lazy, and you can find that on my pin tweet. It's great. If you like spooky games and you want to see me DM one, then you can hang out with me Friday nights, 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock my time, which is Eastern. I DM Tales from the Mists. It's a Ravenloft campaign. It's very fun. We are doing our penultimate episode this week, so next Friday is the finale. It's very exciting. I'm going to ruin everyone's lives on my book.
It's good. It's nice that your brand is consistent across shows.
Yeah.
Cool. Up above, TK playing Torgor. Do it. Do it.
I'd love it. Speaking of consistency and brands, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. The handle Marood Boy. Still no tweets. Probably won't be a tweet by next week, but you never know unless you follow. So something might happen. Currently at 66. Let's try to bump that number at least by 3 before next week.
Nice.
For 12-year-old and me. But no, follow me on my Instagram to see things that I'm working on. Follow my cat, which is really all I post about because she's the best. Yeah, if you're in Chicago, send me a message and I'll tell you about shows and then try to get you to come to mine.
Cool. And then last but not least, over there, it's Katie.
Hi. So you can follow me at Twitter at OKKatieMay. Fun stuff. I DM a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, all women, called Dungeons, Dice, and Everything Nice. Our puppet episode live from C2E2 is going up on our Patreon today, patreon.com/dungeonsdice. Should be super fun. Next week, if you are in Chicago, you can come see us live at the Cards Against Humanity Theater, as we are doing Comedy&D, which is a Dungeons and Dragons variety show. We are raising some money for a Play to Beat Brain Cancer, which is an amazing charity. We've got some variety acts, some musicians, some comedians and stuff for the first half, and then the second half they're playing D&D with me, most of them for the first time. So that should be wild and fun.
Very fun.
Yeah. And so the very fun thing about that is it's also going to be streamed on Twitch, twitch.tv/thepartybards. So we're gearing up for that as well. So you can keep an eye out for that too.
Nice. Everybody's doing so much cool stuff. That's so exciting. Awesome. Well, that's it for today's episode. If you want, you can find all of the back episodes on our YouTube channel on MS Roll20, or you can find them in audio form as a podcast, wherever podcasts are. They're all over the place. Just look for Jace Beleren Must Die if you want to catch up on the audio. You can find me on Twitter at Skinny Ghost, and if you want to see the XP, there's a thread on my Twitter. So go to my Twitter and you look for it, and that's where I got that XP thing that we're using. If you have ideas about how to make it better work, hit me up, because I like talking about game design on the internet. That's it for us for this week. We will see you next time. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Bye.